The Dr. Fazil TV show is brought to you by POYA, People of Yuma Health Association. The Dr. Fazil TV show is intended for health educational purposes only and complies with all the HIPAA regulations.
Stay tuned and we'll be right back.
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming in. I'm all wired up. More wires every single time, I guess. So, how's everybody doing today? Doing great? Good. Okay, so I want to introduce, before we go further, a woman behind the scene, my wife, Nadia. She's a doctor, internal medicine specialist. And the reason I wanted to bring her on the main screen today is she's always been behind the scenes, but she's the one who's running the show. And she's actually the president of People of Yuma Health Association, which is sponsoring this seminars throughout the last 2 years. I think it was a good idea that she should also express her views and what is her vision moving forward for the community. And so before I start with the seminar, I'm not going to bore you guys too much. It's going to be a straight to the point. The goal is by the time you guys are done from this seminar, you should have a very useful information which you can implement in your lives to help keep losing more weight. So that's the goal. Dr. Hanif, please come on the front line in the spotlight. Give her a big applause, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Is it okay? All right. So, Dr. Fazil, thank you for a generous introduction. And I'm over here presenting POYA, which is the People of Yuma Health Association. And also, I have been stepped into helping the community more services. And I guess the next slide. So over here, you can see, like before, I'm the voice of Arizona. I'm working more into that. We have started that recently. By next few seminars, we introduce more about that. I have my own website which we are working on, and Father will introduce that soon. It's going to be www.nadiahani.com, and you will see more of that introduction in my next coming seminars. Yes, we work hard to bring this seminar together for you guys for the education of patients, education for ourselves, getting to know more of the community, and getting to know more of what we need to implement more to make our health services much better. About POYA, which is the People of Yuma Health Association, it's a little bit introduction. It's a non-profit organization. The main mission for this People of Yuma Health Association is to promote medical tourism, to improve better health and increased jobs in Yuma. And also, last but not the least, is the patient education. The patient education means that we have the staff and the doctor and you work together and learn more how to improve your health and the risk factors which are caused by certain medications, diet, and how to improve your overall health. So Dr. Fazil works on that, and that's the reason for our monthly seminars is to make you aware what all the new topics we can bring, and if anything you guys contribute and are requesting us to work on it, are most welcome always to give suggestions and comments. All right. Again, the website we are working on that for nadiahani.com. Next time we should be having more introduction on that. Any questions before I hand over to Dr. Fazil?
How do increasing jobs or the economy for here for Yuma?
Okay, that's a good question, Mr. Hill. Medical tourism, I was just going to give a definition about that. It's not only just visiting Yuma as a snowbird and coming and living here in the warm weather. It's also promoting health, making Yuma a place globally where people can come and spend time and get their health issues taken care of, as well as, of course, getting to know the community more, making Yuma like one of the most, it's the third largest city of Arizona, bringing it up in education, health-wise, and having more healthier people. So that's medical tourism, and that's what the mission of POYA is. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to us and her. Thank you, Nadia. So I will switch it off now. Or Jeff, can you handle that? Hand over to when people need to ask questions. All right, so let's move on to the next. Oh, there was sound effect again. So we are on the episode number 5, which is actually we have been doing a series of weight loss sessions for the last 5 months now. Year before, we were doing topics based on what was the most common question at that time. But then I realized our audience here was mostly people who were on the weight loss program. So we kind of like changed the agenda of this year is to focus mostly on the weight loss. And also we discussed last time that we had gone to other medias as well. We are being recorded right now, and this presentation is available online when we are done. Not immediately, but takes around 2 weeks for the post-production changes and everything. But the last episode got available just this morning. It's available on Roku TV channel. And last time we checked, we have around 1,000 plus people who have downloaded our Dr. Fazil TV show on Roku channels. And then so every time we upload the episode, within a days, many hundred people download the show and they watch it. So we try to find their geographic locations, and it is not just in Yuma, but in a lot of different places, a lot of different cities. So that means that definitely it is helping community. It is helping people to understand their conditions. Again, this is not a specific advice to a specific person. This is a general advice. And I have to say that, although I know you guys, I'm your primary care doctor as well for most of them, but if you have any healthcare condition, you should ask your primary care doctor. I have to say, legally speaking, as it is being recorded and a lot of other people are seeing it. It's kind of weird feeling because their eyes watching us, but we can't see them. We call them ghosts, and I mean, one way or the other. But I mean, obviously, that's the new technology. We're also available on the website. We're also available here, obviously, and the POYA TV channel, and then on the Roku TV channel. So let's move on to the next topic. Also, the HIPAA thing, I know we do a lot of question answers at the end of the session. Just don't mention your name. You can ask a question which you might think is related to condition you're interested in without identifying yourself. And that way, we follow the privacy law of healthcare system, which by law we have to explain to you guys. And in that way, it wouldn't be available to other people when they see it on the show. So you can ask questions, and we should be fine. But no, don't identify yourself. Don't say that you and so and so. Yeah, right. Let's move on to the next thing. Weight Loss Center of Yuma, obviously part of BioClinic. We have had this program going for almost 2 years now. Statistically, I mean, I stopped checking how much total weight we had, how many total weight the patient had lost since we started the program. The last time we did the mathematics, it was more than 30,000 pounds of fat in the last 1 year alone, so that was a lot. So you can clap on that, that's fine. Give us a big hand on that. Great. We need some sound effect too, by the way. All right, so again, she was one of our first patients. She still looked the same. Before, after, it was within 6 months, dramatic change. Actually, I saw him, recently, still look the same. So the point I'm making is that the program is so organic and natural that even when people are off from the program and I'm not seeing them or we're not seeing them, they're still keeping the same weight or they're able to maintain their weight. So that's the beauty of the program. I know there are a lot of weight loss programs, but people generally fluctuate. They go back and forth because they are so difficult to maintain or expensive. This one fits your national lifestyle and is very easy to adapt. So that's why I like this program, and I think a lot of our patients and our people who are using this program, they like it. So before we move forward, I know I'm going to be using word body mass index a lot, so I know we have some new audience, so I need to explain to them what does the BMI means. Body mass index is a ratio between your height and weight. Anybody who could be taller might weigh more, doesn't mean they are overweight, so we have to adjust for their height. Therefore, we call them having body mass index instead of just discussing the weight. Normal BMI body mass index is between 18 to 18.5 to 24.9, or you can say between 18 to 25. Below that is underweight, above is overweight, so just remember those numbers. Above 30 is known as obesity. That's where it becomes a medical conditions. So anybody who has body mass index more than 30 and has a medical condition, due to that, they do qualify for medical weight loss. Is covered by most insurances, just like they cover diabetes and hypertension and arthritis. This is also more and more recognized by a lot of payers as a medical condition. And I was in a meeting other day, happened to, I think it was last week, and Nadia had a meeting with GOP, the local political party. They wanted to come out and express their views. After the meeting was adjourned, one of the patient, or person actually, was not patient back then, he came to me and he said, and he was overweight, I could see him. He said, I have, diabetes, I have a colon cancer, and I take so many medications, and can you get my diabetes under control? And I said, we can actually kind of cure it, actually. And he said, can you cure it? How's that possible? I said, most of your, you're very, very overweight. I don't have to be, don't feel bad about it, but that's the fact. But that's your problem, is weight. See, even the colon cancer is actually a risk factor for colon cancer is also partly due to the overweight. So obesity is a risk factor for colon cancer as well. So it's not just hypertension, diabetes, and everything. But if we just focus on losing weight, then his blood pressure will get better, his diabetes will get better, and his cancer will probably stay in remission. So that was a good discussion. And same message we have to carry out and give it to the community. And a lot of our colleagues, my doctors, my friends out there, they are also not aware of this new vision. Like, look at the bigger picture. Don't just try to write prescriptions after prescription after prescriptions, because prescriptions are expensive, plus it has side effects and drug interaction. And if we can fix the root cause, that would be awesome. Most doctors are not trained in doing weight loss. That's why when you ask them, I'm sure from other doctors, they have been giving you the same answer. Well, eat less and exercise more. And the last time we gave the example was like if somebody's drowning in water and he asks for help who's on a boat and say, can you help me? I'm going to drown, I'm going to die. And he said, well, just swim more. You're going to be fine. Well, if I could swim more, I would swim more. I don't know how to swim, or I'm tired. I need your help. Pull me up. And the same thing is when people are overweight, when they ask, I need to lose weight, and they ask the doctors, they will say, well, eat less. The same example. They need help. We need to hold their hands, and we need to help them out and walk every single step. And so there's so many different things we can do. We have talked about the diet. We talked about the exercise. Today we're going to talk about the role of weight loss supplements. There are a lot of supplements available without doctor's prescription. So I picked 12 of them, and we're going to talk about that today. The first one is Garcinia cambogia extract. Hard different name. I'm going to nickname it sooner or later something. GC, how about that, GC? Not GQ, but GC. I think that's the way to remember it, GC or whatever. I mean, you can see the picture. It is a small green fruit shaped like a pumpkin. Actually, the skin of the fruit contains a chemical known as hydroxycitric acid, HCA. So that's where the active ingredient is. So we're going to bring up those 12 supplements today, and we're going to discuss are they real, how effective they are, and their side effects, if any. Those three things. Every single supplement we're going to discuss today, we're going to discuss on 3 different levels. If they're good or bad, do they work, how do they work, and then if they have any side effect. And at the end of my discussion, we're going to see who are the winners. What are the winners of those supplements which we should implement in our daily life? So I think that's a very important portion of the seminar, because you can literally pick 3 and based on what we're going to discuss, and you don't need my prescription. You can buy them over the counter or from Amazon or from a drugstore. So, and do they work? Do they don't work? At least you will have better knowledge by the time you leave this conference today. So, Garcinia seemed like a Spanish name, Garcinia cambogia. So so HCA, the chemical in the skin, what it does is, now you can eat it like the whole thing, or you can just buy their extract, from like a pill form. So it can inhibit a fat producing enzyme in the body and increases level of serotonin, potentially helping to reduce craving. So basically it's working at 2 different levels. It increases the serotonin in the body, is a chemical which is released in your brain, and it lowers the craving, like a food binging and stress eating. It reduces those urges. And number 2, it also inhibits fat producing enzyme in the body. So if you eat food and which makes fat, it will prevent you to not make fat. So yes.
Since it increases the level of serotonin, would it be helpful for insomnia?
I think the question would be the level, the dose, like how much you're going to take it. So I haven't seen any study. Theoretically it can, because serotonin does cause, like, help with the sleep. When you have more serotonin, it can cause helping sleep. So theoretically it can, but then it will be like, okay, you eat it and you sleepy all the time. Would you want to do that? So I think it depends on how much dose you're going to take. And I think for dose for sleepiness might be mega dose. So I don't think it would be primarily used for that, or it would have been used by now. We all know that, how it works. Well, it was a good question. So let's go on to the next one. So the studies which have done, this is the data. It caused weight loss of about 2 pounds over several weeks. Not a big number. I mean, if you look at a weight loss program which we conduct, people lose 2 pounds per week. Generally, if you follow the guidelines, you can lose even more, but around 8 pounds per month. But again, this is not a medication, not very expensive. It might be another add-on, so why not if you want to use it? Yes, sir.
Pumpkin tomato.
It is not a pumpkin. It is another plant. It looks like pumpkin, but it's not a pumpkin.
It's extract. So is it liquid or is it a pill?
It comes in different forms. Basically, it is a plant, like organic plant, but then they generally comes in the pill form. I have seen in the gummies too. Everything is in the gummies now. So you can actually buy the gummies for this thing. So if you look online and use the keyword this one, and it comes in the tablet capsules, it comes in gummies also. A lot of things are coming in gummies, so might not be a bad idea. But again, before we make up our mind, we'll look at their pros and cons, and then we're going to pick the best 3 at the end. And I think that's how we're going to go. Side effects, no serious side effects. Some reports of mild digestive problems. So that's the only thing. You might feel like little tummy ache, I would say, if you eat too much of that. 1 or 2 gummies a day, I wouldn't hurt you, but if you take quite a bit of that, it might cause some gastrointestinal side effects. Next one is hydroxycut. And I'm sure you have seen a lot of advertisement on the TVs about hydroxycut. We're going to, again, same 3 process, how it works, does it work, and any side effects. So it contains several ingredients that are claimed to help with weight loss, including caffeine and few plant extracts. So pretty much it is more of a caffeine, some plant extract, unknown plant extract, I guess. So the study shows, again, this is based on some studies. People who use, what the study was designed, they have 2 groups of patients. One got the placebo, like, fake medication, and the other group used this one, and the one used hydroxycut. They lost 21 pounds in 3 months. So again, not a bad idea if you don't want to do anything else and want to use this one and also use the previous one, which I'm going to call GC. Then you got some action going on, right? All right, so let's go to the side effects. So if you're caffeine sensitive, like you have atrial fibrillation, your heart palpitates a lot, you're an anxious person, it might make you a little bit jittery, anxiety, tremors, nausea, diarrhea, irritability. So I think the hydroxycut is more of a caffeine thing than anything else in a more concentrated form. So next is the old-fashioned caffeine. So what does caffeine do? It increases your metabolism by 3 to 11% and increases fat burning by up to 29%. So it does actually help with the weight loss. It increases your metabolism. That's how it works. Side effect, we all know the side effect. Take too much caffeine, same thing. You're going to be anxious, jittery, So we all use it for for routine stuff, but for weight loss, I think you need to use a lot of caffeine. And that's why there are other supplements which have caffeine, so you can use those if you need to. The 4th one is orlistat, ally. We commonly recommend in our clinics. We have, again, what it does, it inhibits the breakdown of fat in the gut, so you can use fewer calories from the fat. So if you're eating food, it's already in your system. Now we want to make sure that it doesn't go to your bloodstream. It costs around $60, but this bottle will last you like 2 months. Now it used to be very expensive. This comes in. It comes in 60 milligrams. You can see 60 milligram capsules, a prescription medication was 120 milligram in 100 milligram tablet or capsule, and the cost of the bottle was like $1,200. Was very expensive. So they made it over the counter, but the dose was dropped from 120 milligram to 60. So what you can do is take 2 instead of 1, and now you have 120 milligram tablet or dose, and it will cost you only $60. So still a better deal than buying $1,200 for no reason. So we recommend a lot. The side effect is loose oily stools, flatulence, frequent bowel movements. So like too much fat in the stool will give you flatulence and explosive diarrhea. Yes.
Vitamin A, D, E, and K. Is it like contributes to people taking Coumadin?
Well, Coumadin has interaction with a lot of other things too, but so basically what it will do, all your fat soluble vitamin will be low. So A, D, E, and K, which are fat soluble vitamins, you will have less of those. So if you're taking a regular diet and a regular amount of Coumadin, and your Coumadin level is stable, if you start using this one, now your vitamin K level has dropped, so your Coumadin will become more stronger. So then we have to readjust it. So it has a drug interaction with people who are taking Coumadin. So if somebody is taking Coumadin and we do start them on this one, we start to monitor their Coumadin level more aggressively initially, because it will increase their Coumadin power. So let's say their Coumadin level is between 2 and 3. After this one, they might go to 4 and 5, and we have seen it. Like I have seen people who take Levaquin, which is an antibiotic. You start using them on patients who are on the Coumadin. In a week, the INR, which is the Coumadin level, would be like 14 or 15, life-threatening high. So it's a good question. So the again, starting if you are on Coumadin and you start taking Ally at your own, or even if your doctor tells you, you have to let him know, hey, I'm on the Coumadin or warfarin, so they can monitor the levels and adjust the level of Coumadin in order to avoid the complications. It's a good question. Raspberry ketones come from the raspberries. Raspberry ketone is a substance found in raspberries, which is responsible for their distinct smell. How does it work? It increases breakdown of fat and increases level of hormone called adaptonectin. So that's the hormone which causes weight loss. So more of a marketing thing. There's not a single study on raspberry ketones in humans. They have studies on the rats, but they use massive doses to reduce the weight loss. I mean, to have them have a weight loss reduction. So it's not very useful, but it's out in the market. Sometimes they promote this medication or supplement, but generally there's no human studies which prove that it does work. So I wouldn't recommend it. Side effect, if you still want to use it, may give you burps and smell like raspberries. So then you have to explain what happened to you. Okay, green coffee bean extract. Yes, ma'am.
On the raspberry, how many milligrams was that? Did that say 600 or 800?
All right, let's go back. So it comes in different strength. Obviously, it's not a medication, but the one they're making it, and this one is 600 milligram. You're right. You're welcome. So next one is green coffee bean extract. Now, a lot of people get confused with green tea and green coffee bean extract. Two different things. So we're going to talk about that in the next few slides. So green coffee bean is actually just the coffee beans which are not roasted yet. So it's like raw coffee beans. So they look green before they get roasted. So it's different than just the regular caffeine because it has another chemical known as chlorogenic acid besides the caffeine. So I think when you roast it, that goes away. And so if you want to use it for weight loss, if you're going to use the raw form, it's better than roasted form. So caffeine can increase fat burning, we discussed in the previous slide. And chlorogenic acid can slow the breakdown of carbohydrates in the gut. That's the difference. So if you eat carbohydrates, it will slow down the breakdown, so you wouldn't absorb carbohydrates that much. So you will probably get some benefit. Studies shows that it can help lose weight. So wouldn't be a bad idea if you want to use green coffee bean extract for weight loss. Again, at the end, we're going to pick 3 big ones based on the studies, efficacy, and their side effects. But we're still through the discussion phase. So, but that's one of the options. And we do recommend sometimes we do recommend green coffee beans. Sometimes we do recommend green tea extract. Side effects, caffeine side effect, or we discussed that jitteriness, anxiety, and the chlorogenic acid may cause diarrhea. So you might have, then you're jittery and have diarrhea. So pick your battles. So this one, glucomannan. I don't know if the AN is silent at the end. How would people read it? Can you read? Can somebody read it? Please say again. What? Humana? Glucomannan? Well, it's like a word, like a tongue twist, you know. Glucomannan. Glucomannan. I've been practicing since this morning, actually. I was actually with my patient in the weight loss clinic today, and I brought up this thing. I said, listen, last night, which was early this morning, because I started my slideshow around 2 in the morning, I said, I found this thing and I did some research, and it seems pretty strong stuff, you know. So you should use it. He said, what's the name? I said, it's glucomannan. Then we keep going back and forth to see what's the right word. But anyways, it's glucomannan. So it's a fiber actually, found in the roots of elephant yam, also called konjac. So basically, it's a fiber. I mean, and you can buy online. It is actually a supplement, so no prescription required. What it does, how it works, you take it an hour before you eat food, drink a lot of fluid, water. It actually causes the swell up in your stomach, and then it lower the capacity of your stomach, or give your stomach a sensation that you're full, and so you're going to eat less, so you will have less craving. So I think that thing is going to be a winner. I can tell you that. I'm telling you before the exam, questions, answers. But this is I'm going to be start recommending it in our weight loss program, because we have very few options besides, you know, doing a low calorie diet, and then there's a few medications. Zyban. Yesterday I was with one of my patients, and I wanted him to use Zyban or Wellbutrin, which is a antidepressant medication. Well, here's the thing. Every time I write that prescription, the pharmacist will call me and he will say, Doc, you know this is an antidepressant medication. And I said, yes, I know, but it's also used for other things. But the patient is not depressed and he's very upset now. I said, make him depressed and then give it to him. I said, so it can be, so we have that medication, Zyban. Then the second one, which is, and I'm going off what is covered by the prescriptions, by the insurance. The next one is the phentermine. Before it was, you could give it up to 3 months in state of Arizona. I just found the new ruling that you can only give for 1 month. So if you're going to just use for 1 month, I don't think it's worth it, because it's going to be, first it has side effects. Number two is you have to buy it. Number three, what you're going to do in the month second and third if you can't use it for 3 months. I mean, and then it's side effects, and it's also like a taboo drug, you know. I mean, it's not. It's like kind of it shows up as an amphetamine in your urine. So if your employer happened to do your urine tox, and it shows up, then you have a lot of explanation to do. So that's the only two medications which are covered. So then we have supplements like Ally, which we use, and we discussed that, and that was pretty much it. But after this seminar, we will have few more arsenal in our possession to use for weight loss. And I think it's very important to see that what else we can use. But this one is going to be the one we're going to use a lot. I will order online tonight, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to find out by using it on myself. And if I don't show up in the clinic next day, you know what happened. All right. I don't know, honestly, the answer, so I don't know. So I'm going to try it. I can't tell my patient, hey, it's a great drug, use it. If my patient starts to disappear after that, not a good idea. Yeah. So 3 human studies shows that with the like healthy diet, you can lose up to 10 pounds, up to 8 to 10 pounds in 5 weeks. Again, these studies are very funny. I mean, the people asked, like, what's going to happen after 5 weeks? Because the study was only 5 weeks long, so they couldn't give you any answer after 5 weeks. So that's why we have to give those funny numbers with the studies. 8 to 10 pounds in 5 weeks, because the study lasted only 5 weeks. Why did it last 5 weeks? I don't know. Maybe bad things happen after 5 weeks. Yes.
Sorry to ask a lot of questions, but since I'm seeing that now, first 5 to 10 pounds, they always say is the weight water loss, and then is the fat burning. So do you think it's just losing the water from the body in 5 weeks?
Well, remember, they're saying healthy diet, so they didn't do any dieting actually. So this is known as just a healthy diet. It was not starvation. It was not calorie restriction or fluid restriction. It was a healthy diet. It says that right in there. I think that's the reason. So it is obviously the fat loss. And again, it makes sense. Why would you lose fat? Because what do you do in the gastric bypass? Well, in gastric bypass, you make your stomach small, right? And other surgeries, which we're going to talk actually the next month topic, which is right on the Christmas day, not on the Christmas day, after the Christmas, is role of weight loss surgeries in weight loss and the side effects. Because I have had some patients which have had surgeries done, and they have some complications. So now we have to see when should we send the patients, or when a patient should ask, when they should ask for the surgery, and what is the right kind of surgery with the minimum side effects. So that's a topic of discussion for the next month. But coming back to the point, this one causes kind of like the same effect, makes your stomach small. Like in gastric bypass or gastric stapling, what they do is you cut the stomach, make it small. So the whole idea is that the food shouldn't go to your bloodstream. I come up with that idea, we can staple the lips. Then you wouldn't eat, but then it will look very scary. Good for Halloween, cannot be doing it long term. But in reality, that's exactly what's happening in your body. You're actually making your stomach small. And by doing it, you're making it permanent. Sometimes you have other complications. I have one patient actually who was actually working in place of Jeff, who's our camera crew today. I think 2 years ago, he was shooting pictures and stuff. When I say stuff, by shooting, I think not shooting, I'm making videos, I guess I will say that. Year and a half or year and intermittently, and you lose weight and then come back, and we always have a reason why it's not working. So before it becomes to the next level, or you go to heavens, I guess, let me send you for weight loss surgery. And he did have a surgery done. And the first week he came in, he was very upset. He lost 70 pounds in one week, 70 pounds. So he was upset because he couldn't eat much. I said, you should be careful what you ask for. So you're going to be a skinny man now, soon. Again, you can imagine it can cause bloating because you're bloated, actually. Flatulence, soft stools. Well, it does cause soft stools, so I think we should be fine. No plugging after that. I guess you should be okay. So take it half an hour before meals with a glass of water so it can swell. Did you see those little toys for the kids? You buy a little stuff and put water in, and the next day you have a plant out of it. I think it has the same science behind it, right in your stomach. The next is, we're on number 8. So remember, we have to go up to 12. So if somebody want to leave, we have 4 more slides to go, or 4 more things to go. And then after that, we have some questions, and then we have a lunch. So hang in tight, please. Meratrim, that's a new one. Supplement, so no prescription required. It is claimed to make it harder for fat cells to multiply, decrease the amount of fat that they pick up from the bloodstream, and help them burn stored fat. Perfect drug, seems like, right? One study showed that Meratrim caused weight loss and had a number of other health benefits. However, the study was industry sponsored and more research is needed. Conflict of interest. So whosoever make it have their own study and say it is a great drug, but we don't know yet. It's too new for us to use it. Yes.
The previous slide you said that the mechanism of action was that it decreases the uptake of fat in the blood, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that in future it can be like a lipid?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of medications which can lower the fat, so I wouldn't say it would be a Lipitor because it is not a Lipitor. And Lipitor works on a different level. It works in the liver. And right, so we don't know. Again, this new medication, people who made it, they claim it is good, and that's how it works. I think time will tell. Again, if you have to have, I mean, if you lose weight, your cholesterol is going to get better anyway, no matter what method you use. B, there are proven medications, long-term medications, even niacin, which is the vitamin B6, and there are other medications like statins and cholestyramine, which is a medication which binds with bile acid in the gut. They also can be used for they're like kind of proven, and they're strong and they're potent, and we know the side effects. So I would rather use that. But again, what does the future hold for this medication? I couldn't tell you at this point because too new. There's no study. It's a supplement. That means it is not under the FDA regulation. So anybody can make any claims, and we don't know. So next one is no side effect. I mean, this seemed like a kind of like a biased study, like works perfectly fine, buy my product, and have no side effect. So maybe it's too new, maybe it's too early. You know that back in the days, there was a medication, Fen-Phen. I don't know, anybody knows about Fen-Phen? Please raise your hand. Yes, a lot of people, right? So it was an epidemic when it came out, and said it was a wonderful drug, and people who used it, they end up having pulmonary, like lung fibrosis, hypertension, and a lot of people died. It was an epidemic of death. And people who survived, they actually have heart transplant, lung transplant, and still they are here. They're like still living. Not all of them. A lot of people died actually. Miserable death, and they did lose weight eventually, obviously, but they die also. And people who survived, they had complications of pulmonary or lung hypertension, lung fibrosis, like scar tissue in the lungs, and they had needed lung transplant and heart transplant. And it's very hard to get those things. unless you go in a third world country. Long waiting list. And so we don't want to jump on this medication yet because who knows, it might be another fen-phen, So that's why I'm very skeptical when people claim those kind of things and there's no FDA regulation and you use it for 10 years. Even with other medications which are under FDA control, we know that, when they come out, they're great. And after 10, 15 years, when a lot of people are using it, then you just have a lot of side effect and they pull out from the market. Losartan is an example. It was being used for many, many years. Metformin was used for many, many years. Now they say it caused dementia. I mean, it was like an epidemic last few months when they start to recall Losartan, which has been in the market for a long time, and say, oh, well, it's bad, it causes cancer, bring it out, don't take it. Had to switch all my patients, from Losartan to another blood pressure medication. Same thing is happening, studies coming out, metformin causing dementia. So still have to, we're switching patients to other medications. So that's the thing which we don't know. So anything which is too new and have too many claims, I would be very skeptical, especially when the money is involved. Okay, green tea extract. It contains a chemical known as EGCG. It aids in burning fat. It's a fat burner. It increases the activity of norepinephrine, a hormone that you burn fat. And that tea is missing. I think it was 2, 3 in the morning. Sorry. This is actually tea up there. That tea should be there. No, it's a good way to remember. So, this is also could be one of the winners too, because it does norepinephrine. Epinephrine is the hormones, and when I say hormones, most people confuse with estrogen and progesterone. There are a lot of chemicals in the body which are known as hormones, and they're different kinds, not just necessarily the female hormones. So these hormones are like epinephrine, which causes you like flight or fight response in the body. When you're in fear or you want in fight mode, then those hormones rage in your body, and it actually releases, increases the activity of those hormones. So that causes more increase in your metabolism, and hence have you lose weight. So studies may help you lose belly fat, so it's more effective on your belly fat. So somebody have issue with the belly fat, so this green tea extract has been found more effective to work on your belly fat. Side effects contain caffeine, may cause people symptoms like jitteriness, anxiety, like anything else, which caffeine will give it to you. Same side effects, but it works not like caffeine, but works in a different fashion. So number 10th, CLA, conjugated linolenic acid. So is actually a trans fat. It is found naturally in cheese and butter. It reduces appetite, boosts metabolism, and stimulates the breakdown of body fat. So that's how it works. May cause various digestive side effects, may have harmful effects over the long term, potentially contributing to fatty liver, insulin resistance, and increased inflammation. So it seems like a pretty bad side effects yet. I mean, it's like taking a lot of butter every day. It's a trans fat, so it has that chemical, but it can cause issues, so I wouldn't recommend it. Forskolin. So it comes from the mint family. Is claimed to be effective for losing weight. So it comes in capsules from something like minty flavor. So it is believed to raise the level of compound inside cells called CAMP, which may stimulate fat burning. So everything is may and believe. So nothing is proven yet. Like one person can say, I believe this is that. shouldn't say that, but I know there's a lot of doctor shows which come up with an idea. I believe that. So then when they start saying it, either they should have three things. Either they should have personal experience of using it for a long time. They should be God, have the knowledge of the future, or they have some kind of studies supporting it. So in a medical science, there's always, everybody's different. So one thing might be good for one person, might not be good for another person. There's different in races, they're different in genders, age groups. So that's why the studies are designed that way. And so any claim, and I've seen a lot of doctor shows, and I wouldn't say any names because we are being recorded, but I see in those shows they come up with, I recommend this thing because I like it and stuff like that, and I'm like, he must be God or something if he's saying all that, just like random stuff. So I don't do that. I mean, I generally give you the knowledge and I can help you make those decisions. And I think that's the right way to do things. So what happened is when some of those shows are money driven, or they wanted to make more spicy, I guess, and to get more ratings. But then it wouldn't be a medical thing then. I think it would be just more of a Hollywood style then. I don't think that they should call it medical anymore. So very limited data on the safety of this supplement or the side effects, we don't know. So it's just kind of somebody else has come up with it. It does work for me, and so use it, but we don't know yet. So we say the jury is out there. Bitter orange. So is a type of orange called bitter orange, contains compound synephrine. Synephrine shares similar mechanism with ephedrine, and we know ephedrine, right? Ephedrine is stimulant. It does causes more metabolism, so it can reduce appetite and significantly increase fat burning. Like ephedrine, synephrine can have a serious side effect related to the heart. So if somebody have atrial fibrillation, heart attacks, angina, please don't use it. So if you happen to lay your hands on a bitter orange, please save it. It can help somebody lose weight. But you can buy it actually online. You can buy it from stores. It comes in capsules, tablets, and also in gummies actually. So that might not be a bad idea. Again, if you don't have any heart problems, I might actually start recommending it to, I did recommend to somebody today. Take some bitter orange, see what happens. Take home message. So again, we're going to pick up winners. This is the almost last slide of this show. Glucomannan, remember that fiber thing which I discussed initially, does have least side effect. The CLA, the butter thing, the trans fat thing, Orlistat Ally, which we do recommend it. So that helped with the weight loss. And then the first two, one in increasing fat burning, caffeine, and green tea extract. So what I would recommend at this point, and the bitter orange is not there, but I think we should put that in the list as well, making sure that people have no problem with the heart. The heart is fine, then we should be okay. So bitter orange extract, Orlistat, we've been recommending it. Some people have some good side effect, some don't. And I think one of the reasons is the dose is not right. The real dose is actually 2 capsules 30 minutes before each meal. The problem is each bottle contains 60 capsules. So if you're using 6 a day, you're going to finish that in 10 days. Then you're going to need 3 bottles in a month. So that's cost of like $240. So that's quite a bit. Although still cheaper than the real medication, which used to be $1,200, but still is a bit. So what we have come up with the idea, use it with the biggest meal of the day,
and then we can probably use it for 30 days. So one bottle, because you're using 2 capsules a day, then you can use it for 30 days. Again, but obviously you're going to have slower results, but again, we are using other things too, so it will add on. It will help to some extent. And I think the way I think is that you want to have food, you go to a party, and you want to enjoy the party, and you want to have food. So if you want to offset the side effect of those toxic foods you're going to eat there, just take 2 tablets before you eat food, and see what happens. Don't eat fatty food. Stay near the bathroom. It does cause a lot of explosive diarrhea. This is going to be our recommendation. Again, we're going to try it. We're going to have some samples, see how it goes. This one I'm probably not going to recommend it because of the fat. So it will raise up your cholesterol. Most of us have cholesterol issues, so we don't want another issue with that. Caffeine, we all know that. So I'm not going to push that. I mean, there's stimulants or thermogenics available from the store. They come in different strengths, and they're color coded. The blue one, the yellow one. The blue is strong. The yellow is less strong. So we do recommend it for energy or other drinks or drinks like that, which have a lot of sugar, caffeine, stuff like that. So things which are different. This is the different thing. This is obviously supposed to work. Caffeine we all drink anyway, so I don't think we need more caffeine. And green tea extract, because of the other chemical, not for the caffeine, but green tea extract does work. So I will pick this one, and this one. So those 3. So you can try that. I mean, I think it's going to help you with losing weight. And so episode 6 would be role of surgery and weight loss. It would be on December 28th. I hope there's no holiday that day, but I think it's not. We should be okay. Same place, same time. And questions. You always ask good questions. Yes.
Okay. It was a very informative presentation. Quick question. Few of the medications you mentioned that you're going to start on the patients, but let's say somebody starts the other supplements. Is there a difference between them as a colon cleanser and a supplement? Are they colon cleansers?
So colon cleansing is a different concept. I mean, we did talk in another seminar back in the days. The colon cleanser work in the fact that your weight is not just fat. Weight is fluid, weight is bones, muscles, flesh, and fecal material, stool.
There's a diarrhea in most of them, the side effect.
But that's a side effect, but that's not how it works. That's not its primarily used, and it's not a lot of diarrhea actually you get with it. With the colon cleanser, you get a lot of diarrhea. That's what it's used for. Like medication Go Lightly, the Go Lightly people use before colonoscopy. So that gives you a lot of diarrhea, and the reason you want to do it is because you want to cleanse the colon, so when they do the scope, they can see what's in there. That would be a colon cleanser. Now, people have gone fancier, and there's some places you can look it up. They actually do professional colon cleansing for you, so you don't have to worry about it. You can lay down. They have I'm not joking it. They have suction machines. They have the whole process. You can look it online. I had to look it online because I was doing presentation. So they flush it as they would do a car wash. Then the whole thing go back into a sealed chamber, so there's no residue or anything like that. So that's colon cleansing. Colon cleansing comes at the amateur level, which is you can do at your home, and comes at the professional level, done by professionals. So that is a totally different thing to do. Those medications are not supposed to do cleansing. They're supposed to do the work the way when we discussed that. I wouldn't, and again, we have a recipe in the clinic. We call it detoxification. Again, does it work? I don't know. I think we give like 3-day recipe for detox, where you have to make juices and do all kind of voodoo stuff. And what it does is that you pretty much not eating anything, and making sure all the things getting out of your system. Does it work? Theoretically, it will make you lose some weight because your stool have a weight, right?
It sounds rather messy. It was nasty. I couldn't even swallow it on the third day. It was bad.
Yeah, but that's the whole idea, like getting things out of your system, like getting your. And it might not be a bad idea because medication which we take, a lot of medication do cause constipation, and over a period of time you will have a lot of stools in there. So those stools by itself, if they keep sitting in there, will cause inflammation or side effects, and obviously weight gain. So especially when people are on pain medication, so doing that wouldn't be a bad idea. I wouldn't recommend professional one. I think at home would be fine. Yes.
I have a question. As a doctor, when we're in a weight loss clinic, we didn't take pills to gain weight. Why, as a doctor, would you recommend to take pills to lose weight, and how long should one take the pills?
It's a good question. So, as I said, we generally don't start with the pills for weight loss. We only use it for a short period of time and only if necessary. So the first few weeks is to train on the software, so you can calculate the calories and do the calorie restriction. We never recommend, or not, I wouldn't say recommend, but I would say we never ask for exercise, because exercise is a very ineffective way to lose weight. Sometimes the patient have cravings. They can stop eating food. For those cravings, we do recommend that antidepressant medication, Zyban or Wellbutrin. That's the only medication we recommend. Now, these are the supplements, and I know we use supplement for a lot of things. We use a lot of things on our skin, like products in our hair. So we can also use some supplements for weight loss, and there's nothing wrong with that. As far as the medication is concerned, I'm not a big fan of medications. I only use the only medication I can remember I have used is the Wellbutrin, and sometimes phentermine, but again, it's such a small period of time, you can't really get any benefit out of it, and the side effects. So generally we do stop those medication after a certain period of time. Again, why we do it sometimes is a risk and benefit thing, so we have to see the risk of staying overweight versus having some medication for a few months and then losing weight and then stopping it. So that's how we do it. Good question, though. Any other questions? You guys always ask good questions.
What about the old-fashioned ginger tea? The mint tea, ginger tea.
Again, it depends on what's in there. I mean, if it is causing diarrhea, again, you're losing weight probably by losing stools. If the mint tea, again, we discussed the chemical in that the mint is supposed to increase your metabolism. There are a lot of things out there. Again, we picked only 12, but there are a lot of things out there. I wanted to stay within the time limit, so I just picked top 12 one. But if you Google search or search your, on the internet, you will see there's a lot of
lemon water.
Yeah, there are a lot of things which are supposedly work. Again, I picked those one which have studies behind it, and not random things. There are a lot of things which claim they will help you lose weight, but these are the ones which have some studies behind it. So I picked those 12.
Drinking raw vinegar is also very good for you for weight loss.
Apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, apple cider vinegar. We talked about that. We did actually have a seminar and how it works, does it work, stuff like that. But limited data,
Do you think there's an addiction to taking a pill to help you lose weight?
Well, it depends on what pill we're talking about. So if you take
Okay, how about maybe the G word up there, the one we can't say.
glucomannan.
Something like that, yeah.
No, glucomannan. I don't think you will call it. It's just a fiber. So will you take it? The addiction would be from phentermine. Phentermine is a one which it's like a amphetamine. It can be addictive. Fen-phen. The fen-phen has phentermine in there actually. So fen-phen had phentermine. So that's how phentermine did not cause a side effect, but it was part of the fen-phen. So it was two medications combined together in fen-phen. So phentermine causes weight loss, but again, it has cardiogenic side effects. And they have no state regulation. And I was reading on the Arizona State website that it can cause, they just want us to use for a month. And the DEA is then watching you, and they want to make sure that it's not misuse. Obviously, we don't prescribe for misuse, but it is. I don't think in a month you can lose a whole lot. So why even bother doing it? What are you going to do in the second month?
I believe what I'm understanding from. Oh, I think you can hear me, can't you? I think what I'm understanding from your presentation today is that supplements are over the counter, and we can purchase them that way, over the counter or on the internet. Dieting otherwise medically with these other prescriptions you're talking about has to be doctor approved and with a doctor's prescription. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So the way I'm reading this whole thing is supplements are good, and if we choose to do the supplements, I'll speak for myself. Recently, I have purchased some supplements that I believe pretty much kick-started my weight loss, right, Renee? And so I'm in favor of them. I don't think I would come to you and ask you for, say, a prescription for specific weight loss.
No, you're right. Again, remember the word supplement. Supplement is supplementing you, not the core thing. So I'm also in the favor of supplements if they do work. Again, as I said, we picked up a few supplements today, which I do recommend, and I dissected the information out there and gave the information which have pros and cons, and more pros and less cons, and you can use those supplements. You don't need a prescription for that. You really don't need anything at all, actually. It's all about the calories. If you can stop eating it, you will lose weight no matter what. Obviously, if you don't have any some certain medical conditions like low thyroid function or polycystic ovarian disease or Cushing syndrome, which are medical conditions, then they need to be treated medically. Most people, or if they have fat, they have fat because they're eating more than what they're burning. That's simple math. So really, you don't need any medication to lose weight or any particular diet to lose weight. You just have to cut the calories. We all have a basal metabolic rate. We have to burn certain amount of calories every day to stay alive. So let's say most people have basal metabolic rate of 1,500 calories a day. That means even if you're sitting on a chair watching TV, you would need 1,500 calories a day to stay alive. So if I give you a diet, simple math, 1,200 calories, you are already negative 300. So you're going to lose weight no matter what happens to you. The question is, number one, how to find 1,200 calories, right? When people say, take 1,200 calories diet, a day diet. Then the question is, how would I know what's in this food? Most of the time we cook it, and most of the time we put multiple things in the food. So how would I know what's in there? So there's a software, MyFitnessPal, and they have a huge database. Worldwide, they have actually contributed to the database. So most foods are in that database. So you can search it, and you can find out what the calories in there. You will have to do some homework, because if you are making a food which has multiple those things, then you have to put everything separately. Do your math. It's kind of a homework. And eventually you will remember it. Okay, this food has, if I eat that much, have that much calories. This food, I eat that much calories. And most people would use 90% of the time same kind of food over a period of time. So now you remember. So every time you don't have to keep calculating it. So now you have your numbers, like you go to buy things, price of this thing costs you that much, this thing costs me that much. I have that much money, I'm going to buy this one, right? Now, if you know if you're going to use 1,200 calories a day and you already know the calories, or if you don't know, you can use the software and you can say, okay, I'm going to use this instead of that because my budget is that much, then you will lose weight. Simple math. So, as I said, you really don't even need any prescription. The problem is for the reason I gave the prescription is when absolute necessary, when patients say, I can't not stop eating, I have cravings, I'm doing stress eating, and you don't see the needle moving, then you want to do, okay, well, maybe I can give something which will help you not to think about food. And that's where we use the medication. That's the only medication used. Then the supplements can also be used. We've been using Ally. And remember, a lot of times it's a cost factor. I mean, the patient wouldn't want to use it because of the cost. And prescriptions are generally covered by insurance. So sometimes you kind of, okay, well, maybe we use it $4 in Walmart. Okay, it's covered by insurance. Let's try that. And generally, that's where the problem is. There's some medication, they are so expensive, like Contiv, like thousands of dollars. You can't even, no insurance would cover it. So there's no point of writing it because it's not going to cover it. So we have to stay in our what we can or can do practically. And that's where the things come in. Same thing is with the supplement. Those supplements are not cheap. They have a cost. Again, then you want to pick up the best one if you're going to use your money. And that's what we did today. We dissected that information, put it on a slide, say these are the 3 ones. If you're going to spend money, then these might be the way to go. Good question.
Okay. Is there somebody else?
No, you can ask and then she can ask.
Is it okay to ask?
Yeah. No, sure. Questions are most welcome.
I'm going to continue from the question which was asked. Yes, we all go ahead and pick up supplements from the market. And as we age, we are having diseases, and I know our weight loss program is doing a great job in bringing the diseases and making the medication list down for the patients. But since all of these supplements have side effects and they interact with the medications, what would you comment on educating the patients on the buying the supplements and consulting you before taking those, just randomly buying that because we are on a lot of medications?
It's a good question. So basically what I do, we call sometimes a brown bag day. But the brown bag day is like patients tend to bring a list in the wallet. And that list is 90% of the time is not accurate. So I said, what I tell them, just put every medication, whatever you use, supplements, medication in the brown bag, and bring it with you next day. Next time when I see you. I don't want to see the list because sometimes they're duplicate medications, sometimes they're supplements which have drug interaction, and we have to look at that's what I do. I look at the medication, and then I remove the one which I think are not necessary or duplicates. And there are some medications or supplements, they're dangerous too, and those could be vitamins. Now, I have seen some patients using a lot of vitamins. I mean, tons of vitamins. Vitamins are medications too. I mean, have side effects. You can have toxicity from overuse of vitamins as well. Minerals also. So that's part of our medical practice anyway. I mean, routine stuff. You have to look at the medication, supplements, including supplements. And again, some supplements have side effects, especially with medication like Coumadin, warfarin, statins. So we have to make sure that they don't take those medications. Good question again. Yes, ma'am.
From what I understand, the glucomannan,
yes,
it's a fiber.
Yes.
So there shouldn't be any side effects other than the cost is low. It keeps you from overeating.
That's correct.
The only negative thing that I have found talking with other people is that it could cause flatulence. But if you space it out in the day,
That's correct.
3 meals a day,
Right.
your body will adjust. Just don't take too much of it the first day or week that you may start trying it.
That's correct. So
Well, from what I've also understood with my reading is that most people only get
get about 5 to 10 grams of fiber in their diet daily, which is way too low.
That's correct.
The average should be about 21 grams a day. And when you force yourself to start looking at fiber content in foods, and the MyFitnessPlan will show you that. If you look at the label, look at the guide, you have to make a conscious effort to come up to 21 grams, and you won't be as hungry. It will help you eat less if you incorporate more fiber into your diet.
That's correct. So good comment and very good question. So basically, what we are hearing today is glucomannan is the winner here, and that's what my feeling is too. Is a root. It is a fiber. We take very low fiber anyway in our diet, and it's natural. And again, side effects are minimal. No drug interaction. It has the same mechanism as you will do for gastric bypass. It is without the gastric bypass, might as well use it. So we're gonna start using it. We'll see how the results show up. But I'm pretty confident that it will work pretty well because there's a simple mechanism behind it. Yes.
If somebody has hypothyroid and they're not treating it with medication, and it's hard for them to lose weight, would you recommend these supplements? Do they have to take it forever, or do they just take it for a period of time?
For hypothyroidism, again, hypothyroidism is the question is if you have low thyroid function. First thing is that you have to treat the thyroid by itself, and that will help you lose weight. So I wouldn't treat hypothyroidism with just supplements because that's not the problem. The problem is your thyroid is not working, and if you have hypothyroidism, you will gain weight. So and then there's other side effects too, which are serious side effects if we don't treat it. So I would actually simply just treat with the thyroid medication like Synthroid, and then I will see when the level come right and see if that person is losing weight, then fine. If not, then we can go to step number 2, which would be any other regular weight loss program. Now remember, in some supplements, be careful, they actually mix the Synthroid, I mean, not here, but in other countries where there's less restriction, and they said, well, take it, it's going to help you lose weight, and you're going to feel great. They actually they grind it, and they mix they actually they take the thyroid gland of the animals, and they cook it with, they mix it in the food, and it has Synthroid, and it causes, obviously like artificial hyperthyroidism, so your thyroid function is high. Now, if you take too much thyroid medication, you will lose weight. People who have hyperthyroidism, they come thin, they're jittery, they have diarrhea, they are anxious, but they're losing weight. So in some places they use that thing, but it will cause a lot of side effects. You will lose weight, but that's not the right way to do it. Good question. That was good. Any other questions? Very good. So you asked very, very good questions. Thank you for coming in. And there we go. Thank you so much. And let's have lunch, and we'll see you next month. Just mark that date on your calendar, and happy holidays, guys.